Hello fellas, welcome back to Top 5 Choices. Today's video I am gonna do a detailed review and pick the top 5 best Asus laptops, 2021. After doing proper researches, we came to the conclusion that meets the best in terms of overall. Kindly leave a like if you find this helpful, and I'd appreciate if you subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications if you haven't. We will be also providing affiliates link to purchase from Amazon. Kindly use to for best offers and purchase from anywhere in the world. We'll be back with more videos. The Asus VivoBook 15 excels at dressing for the job it wants. Its slate grey chassis doesn't look like a budget laptop, and despite its plastic build and relative lightness, a mere 3.7 pounds, lighter than the Acer Aspire 5 and HP 15, 3.8 pounds and 4.4 pounds, respectively, it all feels cohesive in its overall design and construction. The inside of the VivoBook 15 reveals a keyboard fitted to the rest of the laptop like on Asus premium models. The trackpad is flush on the wrist rest without being too obvious, and there's even a fingerprint scanner for locking up your system. Buying a laptop with plenty of ports is a good idea if you're ever considering docking the device and working with a full setup. The laptop's left side has two traditional USB 2.0 Type-A ports, plus a status indicator light. The VivoBook 15's 15.6-inch, 1920x1080 nano-edge display offers little bezel on either side of the laptop, with a bit more at the top to accommodate the webcam. But beyond its widescreen look, the display's dim color profile and weird viewing angles make it an underwhelming device for consuming online video. The Asus Flip C436 is for people who want more from a Chromebook. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of ho-hum Chromebooks in the $300 to $500 space that do little to tempt the heart. Asus joins the ranks of high-end Chromebooks, which include the Google Pixelbook Go and Samsung Galaxy Chromebook. These machines all blend form and function and have the price tags to prove it. Asus designed a Chromebook for 2020 and beyond. The Flip C436 has sharp, clean lines, a slim profile, and a strong build. The satin white model, aerogel white, in particular, is sophisticated and pure. It also comes in transparent silver. The bottom half of the Chromebook is a bare magnesium alloy no matter which colorway you choose. Chrome accents complete the look. It's slim at 13.7mm thick and light at 2.42 pounds. This Flip is a convertible, meaning it functions as a regular laptop, and can also stand in a tent posture or be held as a slate for tablet-style input. The hinge is strong and holds the lid at any angle. I particularly like that you can open the C436 with one hand. The laptop sits solidly on your table or desk thanks to rubber-coated rails on the bottom. The keyboard is acceptable. You'll notice when you open the C436, the lid tilts the deck just a bit. Asus says this slight angle helps some with typing. As much as I appreciate that, the keys are hardly improved over last year's model. The Zephyrus G14 is something of a small wonder. As gaming laptops go, it is extremely slim and light, cramming more gaming prowess into its 14-inch chassis than any comparable Ultrabook from the past few years. Measuring 12.8 x 8.7 x 0.7 inches, the compact Zephyrus G14 weighs just 3.5 pounds, making it the smallest and lightest gaming laptop on the market. The computer owes its light weight to the materials that make up its sleek body, with rigid magnesium and aluminum used for the chassis, deck and lid. But the compact design is missing a couple of features, dropped in order to cut weight and size. Most notable is the lack of a webcam. While the display's slim bezels don't leave much room for a camera above the screen, there's also no webcam below it, or on the laptop deck. If you want to video chat or stream yourself playing on Twitch, you'll need to pick up a separate camera. Our review unit came in a sleek-looking white finish, paired with a metallic silver deck, for a color scheme that Asus calls Moonlight White. Asus also offers the laptop in a more subdued Eclipse Grey, which has a near-black finish on the lid and matching deck, with black keys on the keyboard. As mentioned, the processor in the Flip S is one of Intel's latest 11th generation parts, complete with improved Intel Iris Xe integrated graphics, one of the first we're getting our hands on. so the performance section later on is of special interest. But first, a bit about the body. The premium feel comes across in the look and physical construction, as well as in the components. Stylistically, the grey and copper color scheme looks luxurious, similar to that of HP's Spectre laptops. The body is made of an aluminum alloy, which makes it feel higher quality than plastic alternatives while keeping it lighter than a fully aluminum chassis. That said, a fully aluminum chassis signals metal better than this alloy does. I could see someone mistaking this shell for plastic. The lid, especially, is not quite up to par with machined aluminum builds. Where the alloy pays off, though. The ZenBook Flip S measures just 0.54 by 12 by March 8 inches, HWD, and weighs 2.65 pounds. This is admirably thin and light, even in this category. The 13-inch MacBook Pro is a touch thicker and weighs 3.1 pounds, while the Dell XPS 13 2-in-1 is slightly thinner but weighs 2.9 pounds. The non-convertible Dell XPS 13 is also heavier at 2.8 pounds. The design of the Asus ZenBook 13 is definitely one of its standout features. At just 0.55 inches thin, 13.9mm, and 2.51 pounds, 1.14 kilograms, this is a seriously lightweight ultrabook. The aluminum chassis has a sleek brushed metal design on the lid radiating out from the Asus logo stamped off-center on the front. It's not an art piece by any means, but it's not the kind of thing that you'll be embarrassed to whip out in public. The edge-to-edge keyboard was comfortable enough for us, but we type for a living. We can definitely see how some might find the key layout too cramped, and the trackpad is definitely not as responsive or comfortable as you'll find on the XPS 13. When it comes to ports, there are two USB Type-C ports, a USB Type-A, an HDMI 2.0 output port, and a microSD slot. You might notice the absence of a headphone jack, which honestly would have preferred to see in exchange for a microSD card slot. We wouldn't necessarily call this a creative workstation, so having a media slot usually used for photos or recorded audio isn't likely to see as much use as a headphone jack would have been. The performance of the Asus ZenBook 13 is something of a mixed bag. On the one hand, its CPU performance simply blows away competing Intel Core i7 chips like the i7-1165G7 in multi-core performance, though it lags behind in terms of single-core performance. This is pretty typical for AMD chips, which tend to be better at multitasking than Intel's but lag behind with particularly intensive apps that require higher single-core power, like gaming or video encoding. Fortunately, you probably aren't likely to do much of the latter on an ultrabook like the ZenBook 13, so the multi-core performance is definitely more relevant for general use and productivity work. Another area where the ZenBook 13 slips a bit is in GPU performance.